shark. He drives with a bottle of wild Irish rose wedged between his thighs, the rose on the label pressed firmly into his crotch, kissing the bulge you've been trying to ignore for weeks. One hand is on the steering wheel. The other strokes your leg, rests on the gear shift, slices through the thick blonde curls he wears in the style of an afro, even though his skin is as pale as fog, his eyes ice blue. He turns off Highway 19 and onto 19A, past the building you later find out housed the mafia-run nightclub immortalized in the movie Donnie Brasco. He reaches between his legs and lifts the bottle, brings it to his lips. You know you shouldn't be riding in a car with a man who is drinking and driving, but here you are. At first he courted you, was on his best behavior. That behavior slowly deteriorated into this, punctuated by stories about his former heroin addiction, the woman he left up north, his dishonorable discharge from the Army. Anyway, it isn't like the police are patrolling the streets looking for driving violations. You know they must be around, but you never see them. You're only 18, still a senior in high school, and you don't know much about the world. You want to know more. You're not even sure what, but more. At night as you run outside, you look up at the moon and tell yourself that the same moon is over New York City. You need a connection to a world that isn't this small, and that's what keeps you sane. That and the idea that there is more. So we're going to Tarpon Springs, you ask. I thought it would be nice. He takes another drink. You want some? You take the bottle and sniff it. It smells terrible, but you take a small sip. Wincing, you hand it back and turn to look out the window. Tarpon Springs is nice as small towns go. It makes the most of the fact that in the early 1900s, sponge divers from Greece came to town and started what was to become, for a while, a multi-million-dollar sponge industry. A few months later, you and your cousin will be walking along the docks in Tarpon Springs and spot something floating in the water. He's convinced it's a wallet. You're not so sure, but you hold his hand as he leans into the river and draws the object to him. He's right, it's a wallet stuffed with river-soaked money. You watch him open it and you look at each other, shocked. He snaps it shut and you agree not to tell your parents, who are having lunch in one of the many blue and white Greek restaurants that line the street. Your date isn't driving to the docks, though. He navigates palm-lined streets that wind along the river and past the shrine of St. Mary, where in 1989 a weeping icon will draw tourists who marvel to see such a miracle. He turns to the street that leads only to Sunset Beach Park, a bit of land that juts out into the Gulf like a fist at the end of an arm. In the picnic area, you see motorcycles parked around the tables. Large men with long, dirty hair sitting on the benches and tabletops drinking. The men are all wearing the same black vest, and you can make out the letters on the back of one curved over a skull with huge teeth. Outlaws. You've read articles about the Outlaws Motorcycle Club in the St. Petersburg Times, heard the rumors around town about rape, murder. Maybe they're just rumors, but you don't know for sure. He parks facing the water, and you both sit silently, staring at the horizon. He takes another swig from the bottle and offers it to you, but you shake your head. He lights a cigarette and holds it and the bottle with the same hand at the same time, expertly. You know what's coming when he flicks the cigarette out the window and puts down the bottle. He pulls you to him, but you don't allow yourself to fall into the kiss. You must remain vigilant and follow your rules. Not with him, not in a car. You feel the hot in him, the liquid fire running through his veins. The heat and force in his kiss make you pull back. You press against the car door and he leans toward you and kisses you again, slides his hand down your shirt and into your bra and squeezes, caresses, and you want to go with it, but you can't. Not with him, not in a car. You click your mind to a different channel and think about what you're going to do tomorrow, what you'll wear. Your eyes rest on the silvery smooth surface of the Gulf, and then you see something cut through the glassy surface like the tip of a knife. He presses you into the seat, crushing you, and he grinds his hips into yours, insistent. He takes your hand and guides it to his zipper. You pull your hand away, and he grabs it and pushes it into his jeans, and you pull away again and press down on the door handle. The door pops open, and you fall out and straighten your hair and shirt. He punches the dashboard and you flinch. He steps out of the driver's side, one foot still on the floor of the car. What are you doing? I saw something. I want to get a closer look. You walk to the beach and scan, and there it is, the fin. Not a large one, but still. You've seen plenty of dolphins in the Gulf, but never a shark, and you watch as it slices through the water's surface and then turns. He's swimming up and down the shoreline as if on patrol. He walks up and puts his arm around you. The alcohol he has been drinking possibly all day radiates from him like an aura. He isn't like your high school friends who begin to list after the second drink at parties, their eyes glassy, who slump onto the ground or vomit on the new beige shag carpet. He drinks and remains steady. The drink seems to make him stronger. You point. Do you see it? He leans into your ear. You can't do that, he whispers with a chilling fierceness. You can't tease me like this. He thinks you're teasing him, but that is the furthest thing from what you are doing. Teasing implies fun, lightness, and there's nothing fun about this. And yet you keep trying, keep hoping something will change and he'll be more like your high school friends, the boys who don't seem interested in dating you, but who hover around you and your friends anyway, cracking jokes and smoking cigarettes they've stolen from their dads. He grabs your arm and gives it a yank, trying to force you to turn to face him. He wants you to be different too, more like the woman he left up north who dropped out of high school and had a baby at 16. Not his, he says, and turned to heroin and booze for reasons only she knows. I'm not teasing you. His grip tightens and you glance at his profile and see his jaw working, his lips set in that thin, grim line you've come to recognize. We're going to my place, he says, pulling on your arm. Come on. You can't look him in the face. When was the last time you felt comfortable making eye contact with him? You take your gaze off the shark and let it sweep past his face and then stop in the direction of the outlaws. At least two of them are watching. You imagine they can sense what's happening because they are experts at recognizing danger. What would happen if you cried for help? Every one of the outlaws is at least twice his size. He turns to see where you're looking and then his hands drop from your arms. You take a step back. He is no bigger than you are, but he is meaner and filled with wild Irish fire. I have to go to the restroom, you mumble. You stop to get your purse out of the car and hurry away. You have to walk past the outlaws to get to the restroom, and you try not to look at them, but you glance over quickly anyway, and a few of them are watching you. You rush into the restroom, panic filling your chest. You lean back against the gray cinder block walls and close your eyes, breathing the damp, urine-y odor. It seems as if the spring that held the world together has loosened and that you helped, twisted the screwdriver left instead of right. You realize how vulnerable you are right now, how if someone slammed through the door, you had no way to escape. You decide to slip out and sneak past the outlaws by hiding behind trees, posts, whatever works. You hope he'll be sitting in the car, smoking and looking at the water, his eyes following the fin as it patrols the coastline. You know it's probably impossible to hide, but dusk has fallen and you might be able to blend in with the dimness. You slip out the door and then you'll slip out the door and then run to the 7-Eleven where you'll call home. You'll deal with the consequences of that later. Taking a deep breath, you pull on the door handle. Nothing happens. You try again, but it won't budge. You examine the handle. No lock, no way at all to lock the door from the inside. You pull harder, your heart pounding. You're convinced now that God himself has reached down from heaven with his huge pointing finger and is holding the door closed, and that this means that what's on the other side is more threatening than you can imagine. You stand at the door for a few minutes confused, and then it starts to move. Karen, unlock the door. Your throat tightens. There's no lock, it just won't open. Right, open the damn door. He pulls harder and the door rocks on its hinges. He pounds his fist against the door and you stand back and watch it rattle. Please, you whisper, please. Finally, the rattling stops. You lean against the wall and hear motors revving, shouts, motorcycles driving off. So now it's just the two of you. Minutes pass. You decide to use the toilet, wash your hands, and then you walk to the door and pull. It opens immediately, easily. You sigh and walk out into the fading light. He's standing by his car, seemingly calmer, smoking and looking out at the Gulf. Your heart sinks. Part of you had hoped that he had driven away too. You walk toward him slowly. He turns around and watches you, then drops his cigarette into the sand. "The door opened," you say. He doesn't respond. You scan the mirror-smooth surface of the water, hoping for a glance of your old friend, but he has given up on you, a lost cause. You get into the car, pressing your body against the passenger side door. He gets into the driver's side and looks over at you, but not at your face. You turn away. "Take me home," you say. He starts up the car and peels away, leaving a scar of black rubber in the parking lot. A few months later, after you've graduated from high school, and before the Scientologists take over, you and some friends will drive to downtown Clearwater to see a blockbuster movie about a shark. After the movie, you will drive to the beach in the dark and dare one another to take a swim. You will run up and down the beach and giggle and scream and fall into heaps on the sand, laughing because you know that as long as you stay on the shore, you will be safe.